G'day everyone, Artist Wayne here with 3 awesome rides packed into one adventure video. I was out in the Wadigans riding and falling with my mate Sam, a fellow DR650 rider. It's the middle of the week just before Christmas and we've got the whole area to ourselves. We were having fun exploring some new trails and doing some tough, snotty hill climbs. Although sometimes you find yourself heading in the wrong direction. It was a top day, the weather was brilliant, and we were planning to hit some single trails in the afternoon. And yes, Sam still loves his DR650. And why wouldn't he just look at the fun we have? And the places we take them. And that just about sums up our first day's ride. Absolutely brilliant. The following day saw us joined by Clint, the road warrior, who was certainly having fun taking on everything that was thrown at him. Today we were doing all single trail, plus a great lunch break at Colnura. Another epic day of single trail riding and searching for new trails. We were getting ready for our next big outing. And straight after Christmas there was a pack of us hitting the trails in Arimba and the Wadigans. 8 riders including Jason on a WR450, Steve-O on his big 990 KTM. Mal was on a KTM that was 1/3 the size of Steve's, and there was also Anthony aka Dingus on his little Husky. And let's not forget the real riders, the men that ride the mighty DR650s. There was Roger, Sam, Alan and yours truly. And because it was going to be a super hard day, we thought we'd start with the easy trails first. And you gotta hand it to Steve-O. He'll take that big KTM places most people wouldn't dream of. And let's not forget Sam the Action Man, who was hell-bent on fighting the hardest line down and giving it a good shake in the process. And believe it or not, we did all of that before we even had a coffee. And after breakfast it was time to hit more single trails and make our way over to the Wadigans. Although the day wasn't without some technical issues, Alan's brand new mighty DR650 had some minor throttle cable problems, but it was only a quick 10-minute job to get the beast going once again. Before we knew it, everyone was throwing their bikes up to more tough hill climbs. And let's not forget how hot it was. It was well over 30 degrees, and it was about to get a whole lot hotter. After that we made our entry into the Wadigans through Little Jillaby. And Sam was falling off in the exact place I did 2 rides ago. Then it was time. It was time to head down into the land that time forgot. Down into the valley of the shadow of death. We were now in Enduro country, or on the set of Jurassic Park. And I can tell you now, my energy levels had reached rock bottom. I'd drunk 4 litres of water and had none left, and I was seriously thinking, this is where they'll lay me to rest. This is really not the place you're supposed to take a DR. And for those that are good at counting, you're probably wondering, why are we down 2 bikes? Well, Steve on his big KTM and Sam on his DR650 were smart enough to come down only so far, and they were going to wait for us to return. But we were hell-bent on finding another way out. Unfortunately, this trail was not going to be that way. There were too many fallen trees blocking the trail, and we needed to turn back and find an alternate route. you know what? We did find another way out. It was a hill that I don't think any of us riding that day will ever forget. It was a hill nightmares are made of, and the boys have nicknamed it Heart Attack Hill. But let's not forget Steve and Sam. They'd stopped just before we got down into Jurassic Park Valley, and by now they knew we weren't returning, so they needed to turn around and make their way up their own hill. But I'll tell you what, Sam and Steve, compared to ours, your hill was an absolute picnic. And before you both roll your eyes and want to start an argument, take a look at this. We had only just begun our ascent and it was already looking like an impossible task. We had no idea where this hill would take us, and I can tell you now, it was steep. It was steep everywhere. It was so steep you needed to have your front or rear brake on at all times. It just wasn't worth rolling back and losing an inch. And it was also getting hotter. This is definitely why women live longer than men. We were now in survival mode. All we wanted to do was get to the top of the hill, however far that was. And all I could do was ride a section and have a rest, and wait till I gained enough energy to continue on. Up past dead four-wheel drives with skeletons of those that never made it out. And it was about here behind me that Roger was starting to have trouble with his DR650. She was now getting super hot, and he was also starting to cook his clutch. I was now trying to catch Alan, who was riding in front of me, and Jason was up ahead of him on his Yamaha WR450. But this bloody hill was showing us no mercy. It just continued on and on and on. I was expending so much energy just to gain a few meters. And the hill was now getting even steeper. I'd now almost reached Alan, who, like Roger, was having trouble with his clutch. In fact, at this point, Al didn't even have a clutch. And this is where Roger and Anthony left their bikes further down the hill and had to walk up and grab Alan's battery booster. Because of all the starting and stopping, Roger's battery was now dead. So this is where we waited for the other boys to catch up. And it was a good place for all of us to have a breather and to let Alan's DR cool down until he finally got his clutch back. We were all absolutely knackered. And after a long rest, it was time to continue on, until finally we were almost at the top. We had all survived to make it to 2017. So to all my motorcycle friends, have a happy new year. I'm artist Wayne Dowson, and thanks for watching everyone.